Men will never be lonely enough, in my opinion. This is, in fact, why we have governments, why we have all these oppressive systems working against us as women, because men refuse to accept the consequences of their own actions. And we've sat here for hundreds of years looking at all of these governments and systems of power and wondering why they don't represent our interests as women. And as soon as they start to, even a little bit, the men come back in and perform a hostile takeover. This is because men need women to exist, and not just some of us, they need all of us, because that is how much labor we have to do in order for them to exist in the society that they built, which is what they'll claim. Not only that, that society has built in speed bumps and roadblocks and glass ceilings for women, and men are still not happy. Men are still not happy with women not participating in that system, with women opting out of doing all the labor while the men take all the credit. What do men always say? We built society. Who made all the people? Who made all the people that are in that society? Please tell me. What society would you have if there were no people? Exactly. You need women. I just heard somebody on TikTok say that she's not a feminist and doesn't care about equality because women are better than men. Like, it's not about equality, it's about facts. And honestly, I've never thought about it that way, but I'm very inclined to agree, because imagine that the entire system has been rigged for you in order to push and propel you forward for hundreds of years. Like, since the dawn of existence, we have proof that men have rigged the system for themselves and against us women, and just anyone in general that they view as inferior in society, but especially women. And as always, this applies intersectionally with people of color and white people, but imagine how debilitatingly sad and useless you have to be at your core to have everything rigged for you, to have the system just designed to push you through at every level, at every rank, to push you through despite your incompetence, despite your mistakes, despite all of your downfalls. And that system only functions as long as y'all are the only ones in it. Soon as you let anybody else in, they not only can catch up to you really easily, they start outperforming you. They're without any debate or question better than you at all the things that you've bragged about being able to do exclusively for hundreds of years. And then here comes these people that you have made out to feel like dummies, to feel like they're useless, like they're inferior, like they could never do what you do. And they come and in less than 30 years completely level the playing field and start walking all over you. And then you cry loneliness and dehumanization and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you blame all of those things for ruining what was a perfectly good system that only worked for you. Imagine other people's success being such a roadblock to you that you don't even know what to do with yourself, and you just shut yourself off in your basement and you start playing video games and drinking or doing drugs your life away. You are in fact not lonely enough. If that is how little it takes to completely throw you off your balance, your equilibrium, to throw you into the hatred of your own fellow human being because you feel like they shouldn't have measured up to you at all, because you feel like they were so inferior to you to begin with, that they shouldn't have even had the chance to prove that they could keep up with you or outperform you or whatever. And then not only that, but on top of that, you also blame them for everything that goes wrong, as if you weren't the one that designed the system that failed. That means you designed a shitty system. If letting other people into the system completely crumbles it from the inside out, that means the system was rigged. That means the system was not good. That means the system existed only to serve one type of person. And it means that the system was rigged for that type of person. If y'all get mad seeing a black woman get promoted over a white man who might have been just as qualified, that's where that racism, that's where that sexism really lies. Because you're like, well, what if a man was more qualified? And it's no, that's the question we have been asking. What if a woman was more qualified? What if a black person was more qualified? That question can be asked on both sides. But unless you have this perceived superiority in whiteness or maleness, then you're not going to be asking that question. So to all the men crying about, loneliness epidemics and like how women don't care about them, just remember that your grandfathers and even some of your fathers were okay with marrying a woman just to lock her up and have her barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen for her the rest of her entire life, so that he can go to work, so that he can have freshly ironed pants in the morning, so that he can have coffee and breakfast made for him in the morning, because that was the only way that he could succeed. And I'm convinced that men only even exist in such large numbers because they have hoarded the power and the resources and have made women dependent on them for resources. Because otherwise, it would be really hard to convince women to mate with most 90% of these creatures. Because these are the same creatures that when they get lonely, instead of going out, bettering themselves, working on themselves, anything like that, they will start a group chat, 70,000 men strong, and figure out how to assault, grape, unalive their fellow human beings, just because those fellow human beings are women. I'm also convinced that other men let them get away with this kind of disgusting predatory behavior because they know that if women were no longer threatened, that if women didn't live in fear, that if women could depend on men to be decent human beings, women would turn around and leave. These men are not considered a menace to society. They're actually considered a boon to keeping things status quo, to exactly as they are right now, which benefits most men. And if men were real providers and protectors and alphas and all that, they would exterminate these harmful, predatory, disgusting men, but they don't. They don't, because it makes it easier for them, the rest of them, to control us in other little ways. Right? At least I don't beat you. At least I haven't tried to unalive you. At least I haven't done all these horrible things to you. And again, all of this is because men know that if we actually packed up our shit and left and went somewhere else, the men would be screwed. Everything as they know it, as they built it, would actually fall apart, and they know this. That's why they dig in their claws every single day more and more tightly. Especially the more that women start to get more independent and out there by themselves, that's when men really want to clamp down, because it makes them very uncomfortable, the idea of women no longer contributing all of their labor to a society that benefits and upholds men. Because why would we do that? Even just speaking of a society, a good, healthy, normal society, you would have to have more women than men. Like, you would have to. When women get lonely, they get a fucking cat, okay? They get a cat and they love it and they take care of it. When women get lonely, they sign up for a class. They sign up to volunteer. They find community. When men get lonely, they start group chats, 70,000 strong, and talk about how they're going to take what they want from women by force. We are not the same. We should not be existing in the same numbers in society. Fucking change my mind. I'm actually begging y'all at this point. Y'all are not lonely enough. Y'all don't know how to pull yourself up by your fucking bootstraps the way that women have to do every single day. And y'all cheat on us, leave us with children for a woman 3 houses down the road. You will tell a woman that, oh, it's all good, baby, quit your job, have this baby, just take care of it, and I'll provide for us. And then you cheat on her. And then you force her to get a divorce because you treat her like shit. You deserve to be lonelier than you are. Much, much, much lonelier than you are. You deserve to not even have the attention of women. This is why I no longer respond to any trolls in my comments. Here, YouTube, anywhere. You little bearded creatures don't even need to bother. No need to apply. I'm not speaking to you. You deserve to be so lonely that you completely forget what the presence of a woman even feels like. That you completely have to rely on yourselves in order to get yourself out of the mess that you got yourself into. Women are fucking tired of doing it. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. This is what y'all do with women every couple of decades, right? Y'all fuck things up so bad that you need to let women back into leadership positions to fix it. And then it's, oh, women don't want to have kids. All they care about is pursuing careers. Women are divorcing us. No, we can't have this. So then you take the power back and then you fuck everything up again. Because you have the power to do so, because you've been hoarding power and resources for hundreds and hundreds of years. And women just simply have no chance to opt out of this system and still survive. That's like the biggest loser move that I can ever fucking imagine. Like, I just don't take men seriously anymore at all. This is what my life experience has shown me. Stay safe out there, ladies. I love you so much. Godspeed.